Good afternoon, everybody. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well. It's a very sunny, it's a very pretty day today. You can see here. Not a line in the sky, not a cloud, not a fake cloud, not a rain cloud. No X's, no Y's, no Z's, no tic-tac-toe across the sky. Not this morning, not yet anyway. But I want to show you some more stupid perp tricks. Hello, baby. So they like to draw. They like to scribble because they're immature losers. So these are scribbles on top of, this is a heavy-duty, husky. I guess some people use this, they stack them for supplies, but I turn them upside down and use them as little shelters for my cats. So I have one out here on my porch, and this is what the criminals have done to it. So here, I'm going to go this way so that you can see what that is. You see that? Look at all these scribbles here. But that's not the only stupid perp trick. So I went into the nonprofit cat building today. I was reorganizing the pet food because I stacked them after I received them from Chewy and moved the older ones to the top so I could use those first. So I pulled out one that was on the top. I knew that half of the case was empty. And I use box covers. They're cardboard box covers that fit right over the case of cat food. And that is provided by Chewy so that during delivery the cans don't get dented. And I save them. I mean, I save everything for every reason at all. So I grabbed the box of dog food, the case of dog food, and I removed the cardboard box cover. And this is what I found underneath the cardboard box cover. See this? See all these puncture holes? This is intentional, deliberate, intentional. These are people that walk around, for a living, they walk around with a pick. Oh, and by the way, I wrote in the description section the damage that they're doing to my property. I believe they're doing it with a regular tool, a screwdriver. That's what the mark looked like in the ground. It was a straight, up and down, perfectly straight line. That looks like a screwdriver head, a flat screwdriver head. So here you go, folks. This is what they do. Pick, 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 pick. And they did this underneath a box cover. So they actually went into the cat's building, went into a shelf where cat food is stacked, removed the cardboard box cover, and punctured holes everywhere. It feels like Swiss cheese. There are so many holes in it. I'm going to back up here so you can see. This is my bad phone camera, the one that they damaged. So here you go, folks. Yeah, this is what they do. This is what these losers do. But another stupid trick they did last week. I purchased wet wipes. You know, not the baby wipes, but they're like baby wipes. But they're, you know, for men and women. And, you know, they have aloe and they're compact. You can carry them around with you, wipe your face and stuff. Well, I have them in the bathroom. And I was looking for one. I couldn't find it. I knew I had it there. So I go out on my property and stuff. And I'm doing stuff for the day. And then I go back in later into the restroom. And the toilet seat was up. And the wet wipes that were unopened had the same puncture marks on the plastic and inside the toilet bowl. Inside the toilet bowl. Yeah. Oh, it just happens all by itself. Like, those wet wipes, they're so smart. They can jump off of a shelf and walk over to the toilet bowl, puncture themselves, and jump right in before a swim. Yeah. So I wanted to, of course, I'm being sarcastic. You know, I'm trying to be, you know, this program sucks big time. It just, I cannot believe how many evil people there are in this world. And getting back to evil, I'm going to answer some of your questions in the video that I posted about the theft of my mother's cat and her personal belongings. I'm going to give you a little bit of an update. I did post it in the description section and post it in the comment section. I called the police today. I called the Yonkers police at 9:33 a.m. I explained that a cat and personal belongings were stolen by my mother's partner's family. I said my mother is deceased. She left everything to me in the apartment, and everything is being systematically removed. The cat was removed and given away without my permission. I was never contacted. The guy says it's out of, I'm sure you've heard this before, it's out of his jurisdiction. Since when is reporting a theft and a theft in progress out of an officer's jurisdiction? Since when? So a theft in progress, a theft of animal, he wanted me to file a civil suit, just the way the criminals around here do. When you report a theft to a police department, they need to run over there and intercept and give me an incident report number so that I can file it with insurance company and also include it in a future lawsuit. Because that's the way it works. You go to a judge is going to say, "Did you file a police report?" That's what they do. Duh. No, I couldn't file a police report because Officer 81 decided it was out of his jurisdiction. He couldn't send anybody over there, even to warn them to not remove anything else. And the fact that a live animal is involved and he wants me to file a lawsuit, do you have any idea how long that takes? I'm not even in the state, although I did look it up for anybody that's interested in New York. They now have, in some areas, mandatory e-filing. So you have to it's mandatory to file online electronically, but also send a paper copy, which makes sense because we all know that this digital stuff can be altered. So yes, so there is a mandatory e-filing, and there is a cover sheet that needs to be completed in order to file electronically, and you have to attach a copy of that to your paper copy that you give to the court, just for anybody that's interested. So yeah, so no, they wouldn't send anybody over there to intercept the theft in progress. They wouldn't go over there to warn the super, who has nothing to do with any of this, who's stealing my mother's belongings. I had a personal friend, go over there yesterday, to see what he could take out of the apartment. And the super told him he couldn't go in. Yeah, the super told him he couldn't go in. The super told me on the phone last week that the son signed an agreement to empty the apartment before the end of the month, which is in a week, less than a week. Those two criminals, the deceptive ones, and I'm just going to say, his name is Ronnie and his wife is Joni. Well, you don't know their last names anyway. So Ronnie and Joni, the thieves who orchestrated the deception, who orchestrated this agenda months ago, had every opportunity to contact me, but they didn't. And for the person who asked me about what, I guess they didn't listen to the whole thing or didn't grasp it. This Ron guy, the wiry teenager that I know from being a teenager back in the Bronx, who's now an adult. And back then, and he still is, involved with the Scientology, I'm going to say, okay? You know what I'm talking about, folks. You know, the one that Leah Remini outed out. She's a whistleblower about how they audit you and steal all of your information to use against you in the future. You know, it's like blackmail. It's the blackmail company. So anyway, that guy, he was involved with it as a teenager. He ended up recruiting my brother I remember when my brother brought home that damn book and I read it, I turned to my mother, I said, Mom, this is a cult. This is a cult that my brother is involved in. And my mother had to do an intervention when my brother moved to California. My brother's a huge problem, folks. He was a sweet little kid. He always got involved in the wrong stuff. And he's pretty smart, too. Really smart guy. Very intelligent. But he always got involved in the wrong stuff. So yeah, so it's the Scientology. That group that cult. You want to call it a religion? Go be my guest and call it a religion. I read that damn book when I was a teenager. It is a cult. And that criminal that's stealing all of my mother's belongings and the cat has been involved with that cult now for decades. And to answer somebody else's question, no, my brother did not ever return my call, which is also suspect. And yes, somebody said that he felt that my brother nominated me into the program. Well, it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible, but I want to say also that I found out as my mother is dying, and my brother is calling me incessantly to ask about her life insurance. And I said she doesn't have life insurance anymore. My brother was involved in selling life insurance at one time, I think MetLife and maybe someplace else, and he sold my mother a life insurance policy. Well, years later, I guess he's assuming that my mom still has it. I had a conversation with my mother after viewing many YouTube videos about how people are being offed for their life insurance policy, and I urged my mother to cancel her life insurance policies. I said, Mom, I don't want your life insurance. And I said that I had a bad feeling that it's possible that you could be killed in the future for your life insurance. So she canceled both policies. Yes, she did. My brother didn't know that. But when I told him, he was furious. He said, I wrote that policy for her. I said, yeah, well, she canceled it. Sorry. My mother and brother had been estranged from each other for years. My mother disowned him. And then out of the blue, literally months before she died, another suspect. Months before she died, he calls her on her birthday, which is in November. And what mother doesn't want to hear from their son after all those years? He's a master manipulator, and he ended up getting to see my mother. And then he manipulated. I'm going to just say it flat out. He manipulated. I don't know where they came from. It wasn't from my mother. But I received in the mail bank information to switch her accounts to his name. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is while my mother is dying. Of course, I tore them up. My mother would never do anything like that. So yes, to the person who said that they think that my brother may have nominated me, it's certainly possible. But I think it's even more nefarious than that. I know for a fact that my mother started getting sick. She started getting stomach aches after my brother brought food in. And I know this because my mother's partner said, my mother got sick, and he felt that it was the food that my brother brought in. I wouldn't be surprised. He turns up out of the blue in November, and my mother is dead in March. Yeah, my mother spent 9 days, after 9 days of being in and out of the hospital twice, after being given a seizure in her sleep. She was dead. Perfectly healthy woman, working, vibrant. Yeah, and she was killed. How Facebook and YouTube like for me to say that she's now unalive. She was unalived, to be proper. And there is a link that I posted in the description of that last video of the interview between Dr. Brian Ardis and myself about my mother, and the protocol that was used against her when she tested negative twice. And the fact that they had the audacity to test her while she was unconscious is unconscionable. Yeah, they said it was protocol. So I hope that answers some of your questions. I'm a little pissed off. I'm like very agitated now. Do I file a civil suit against them? Do I spend all of my time and energy on filing a suit? My mother's stuff is going to be long gone. I don't want the monetary value of what was stolen. I want her things. Her valuable things that she touched that belong to her. Or do I allow the universe to intercept the way I do often? And take my energy on suing somebody else that's infinitely more important. And the fact that this is the way my mother is being honored after everything she has done for that family and for this piece of crap that she lived with. And then I have to wonder at 88 years old, is he being manipulated? Is he being threatened? I mean, he's literally at the hands of his family. He's 88 years old. Is this considered to be elder abuse? Is he only going along or not taking my calls because they've intercepted his phone? It was very suspicious. After my mother died, I was trying to contact him. And he would repeatedly tell me his phone doesn't ring. He never receives my calls. He would try to call me, blah, blah, blah. I think somebody on his end blocked the call. I actually had to have a friend physically go over there to fix his phone. Somebody had blocked my phone number. He doesn't know how to do it. Somebody took his phone and blocked my phone number. So is his family doing this? I mean, obviously, they had an agenda. And then I got some comments from you guys that said that it's not always a targeting situation. I agree that this is happening across the country. It's happening across the country to people that pass away. They have assets. They have a home. They've got property. They've got possessions. And family members are greedy. And I have to tell you, these people are not hurting for money. They live in a very wealthy neighborhood with a gorgeous house. The guy I noticed on Facebook, he has this very, very expensive motorcycle. You know, in addition to whatever vehicles he has. They're not hurting for money. Their kids are grown. And they're stealing my mother's stuff. And it's intentional. Because if they cared about my mother, if they cared about her legacy, they would have called me 2 months ago. They knew I had a relationship with my stepfather. And in fact, I'm just going to say it on the record because it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter anymore because he's got nothing now. He's in a nursing home. After my mother died, and I had to get a different, I think I had to get another copy of her will. Because of moving here, I didn't know where it was. So I contacted the law firm. They sent it to me. And after all this happened, and I said, you know, this wasn't supposed to happen this way. I was supposed to empty out her apartment all at once, not have to do this in parts. You know, her partner's still living there. But he wasn't giving me any hard time, so nothing else was done. I find out that he has a will that was drafted by the same law firm. Guess who's in charge of his will? Yeah, he named me. He named me. I don't have a copy of it, and it's very possible his family knows that, because I'm sure they would want a copy of it. They weren't going to change it, but before he died, they were going to steal everything, so there was nothing left. That's right, folks. So that's how nefarious and sneaky and criminal Ronnie and Joni are in Yonkers, New York. Yeah. And, you know, I didn't read the text messages. I can't figure out if I can read the text messages while I'm doing the video at the same time. I didn't want to disconnect you guys and go into my messages to see if I can read them. But what a manipulative woman she was. But anyway, I'm getting a low battery message here. I'm going to post this. I have some other videos that I want to post. I've got a lot of work to do here. The grass is starting to grow again. I'm going to have to trim it, take care of my animals and stuff. I'm in a really pissy mood today because of this. I'm in a really pissy mood after calling the police department and them having the audacity to say it's not their jurisdiction. I guarantee if your best friend called and said that there was a theft going on, you'd be over there. You'd find out the details after you got there. I don't know. Maybe I should call an animal organization. I have to think about it. You know, I don't live in New York. Things are done differently in every state legally. And to have to educate myself on the legal process in every state is a challenge in and of itself. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing well today. I know that this time of the year, some of you guys are moving. I received messages from people that say they're in the process of moving somewhere else. You know, I guess the new lease is going to start October 1st. So good luck with everybody who's moving, packing. Stay safe. Also, for the people that are not moving, you see what's going on in the world. Please buy some more food and supplies. It's very possible that we're going to get locked down again. Get some extra gas for your car, some extra fuel, whatever you can afford. And, you know, whatever supplies you could use. Any kind of method for staying warm in the wintertime. If you're not able to purchase a generator or something like that, get extra blankets. You can find some extra wool blankets actually on eBay. They may not be new. Some people are selling the old vintage ones. They're just as good. I did that during Hurricane Sandy. I bought some beautiful blankets. And when I told this one woman, this one seller, who I purchased the blanket from, that it was just freezing during Hurricane Sandy, she actually sent me another one for free, which tells you there's still good people out there, folks. So keep the faith. Stay strong. You know they're all going down. You know, the evil people, they're going to be warring against their own selves because they're control freaks. They're control freaks, and they want to control everybody around them. So they're not going to let other people in control them either. So it should be interesting to see how it plays out amongst the alleged controllers. So this is Lorraine signing off for now. Sing it, guys.